Hello, I'm Raphael from the Max Planck Institute for Informatics at the Saarland Informatics Campus, and I'm presenting a submission titled Align Wants to Explain Feature Alignment for Scalable B-cosification of Foundational Vision Transformers, or in short, ALOE. Modern foundation models achieve incredible performance, but they mostly remain opaque. When we try to understand them, post-hoc explanation methods are often unfaithful, coarse-grained, or computationally expensive. At the same time, retraining these massive models from scratch with interpretable architectures is simply cost-prohibitive. We propose ALOE, an efficient framework that distills foundation models into faithful, inherently interpretable B-cos models. Understanding where models look can give us a better understanding about failure modes and how predictions arise. Especially the application to large vision language models is an exciting direction. Here, we show ALOE explanations for different output tokens of a LVLM as an example. B-cos models are bias-free neural networks that use B-cos transformations instead of linear transformations. The hyperparameter B steers the alignment of the model. Increasing B increases the pressure for the weights to directionally align with the input, suppressing noise and increasing the reliance on prediction-relevant parts in the image. Since B-cos models are bias-free, they can be reformulated as dynamic linear functions. For any given input, the entire model collapses into a single linear function, allowing us to generate precise and faithful attribution maps without any post-hoc approximations. The dynamic linear representations of the respective layers can be multiplied to recover the dynamic linear function for the whole model. Contrary to common post-hoc methods, the linear summary exactly represents the model's computations. This function can be directly visualized as attribution map or even as RGB color explanation. Here are examples of faithful and human interpretable explanations given by B-cos models. As you can see, the explanations are nicely localized and highlight distinctive and discrimination-relevant parts of the image used by the neural networks for the prediction. Previous work introduced B-cosification to convert standard networks by reusing trained weights, but this approach unfortunately does not scale to most foundation models. ALOE bridges this gap by extending the approach with a novel layer-wise distillation loss. It presents a simple, label-free and model-agnostic framework which converts B-cos models efficiently with fractions of the pre-training data and pre-training compute required. Even with only 0.0015% of the original CVPR pre-training data, we retain most of the performance, achieving a gap of less than 0.5% in accuracy. Our framework uses a highly efficient two-step process. Step 1 is the model conversion. We take the standard neural network and make 3 structural changes. We replace the linear projection with a shallow convolutional stem, swap all linear transformations for bias-free B-cos equivalents, and replace all norms with bias-free variants. Step 2 is distillation, which is entirely model-agnostic and label-free. Using an unlabeled dataset like YFCC15M, we propagate inputs through a frozen teacher model like CVPR2 or Dynamo3 and our ALOE student model. For the student model, the input is converted to a 6-channel format. Details on this can be found in the paper. We then minimize the cosine distance between the token-wise embeddings of the hidden layers and global representations. Choosing the right target layers has a strong impact on the performance of the model. Detailed ablations about which layers to choose and different loss functions can be found in the paper. Performing this distillation is model agnostic, resource efficient, and does not require any labels. The distilled ALOE models can now be used to replace the original foundation models for interpretable downstream tasks. ALOE preserves most of the model's capabilities. We evaluated our approach by linear probing the models on ImageNet 1K, using a supervised vision transformer, CVPR2 and Dynamo3 for differently sized models. For both foundation models, the accuracy gap is negligible for nearly all model sizes. If we extend the evaluation to 9 additional coarse and fine-grained datasets, we can see that also in this case ALOE is competitive with the original foundation models. Additional experiments showing the competitiveness of ALOE in dense prediction tasks and zero-shot vision language explanations can be found in the paper. At the same time, ALOE massively improves interpretability. In our evaluations, ALOE increased localization crit BG scores by up to 36% compared to the strongest post-hoc methods. As you can see in these qualitative results, ALOE provides fine-grained, human-interpretable explanations that focus precisely on the object of interest. Existing post-hoc methods are unfaithful or compute-intensive and provide noisy explanations. To summarize, ALOE provides a label-free, model-agnostic and resource-efficient framework for translating existing foundation models into their faithful, human-interpretable B-cos counterparts. The code is publicly accessible on GitHub, and all models, including their current weights, can be found on Hugging Face. Thank you.